Hiya drummers, it's Rob Litton here from drumstheword.com. Welcome for this completely free full video song lesson. Today I want to show you how to play the song Get It On by T-Rex, drummed by the aptly named Bill Legend. This is a great song for beginners. This is not too complicated. There's some very simple parts going on. It's just a case of reading off the chart if you want to play it note for note. We've only got a few drum beats in here to really learn, and you've got the entire song down. I've got all 3 pages of the PDF that you can download from my website for free. You'll find a link beneath this video. So I have all 3 pages printed out in front of you as we go through this together. It's going to make things a lot easier for you to understand. And just so you know, this song was suggested over on my Facebook page. So if you want to make your own song suggestions, please go over there to do so. You'll find the link beneath this video. You'll see the post pinned to the top of the page. Type your song suggestions into the comments. Others get to vote on them. And the most popular songs like this one today get chosen for future lessons. I've also got a YouTube community channel post as well where you can post some song suggestions up there if you just use YouTube. And I will be updating both posts very soon, next couple of weeks. So have a start to think about what songs you want me to teach in the future. So the first thing I've written on the chart is note tambourine can be heard in background throughout. So there's an overdubbed tambourine being played on quarter notes or the backbeat 2 and 4, I can't remember which, and then the chorus is playing every quarter note. So just be aware that there's this extra tingly thing going on in the background. That's just the tambourine that was overdubbed after the drum part was recorded. So we got this really cool intro, the guitars. Da 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 da. Just be aware that first note you hear is beat 1. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and then the 4th bar we come in with this ridiculously simple drum fill, but repeated throughout the song, so obviously purposely chosen to be simple and powerful. We've simply got a flam snare drum on the, flam snare drum, 1 and followed by a bass drum. Now if you're not sure how to play a flam, you can Google that kind of thing. If you can't play a flam because you're a complete new beginner on the drums, then you could play the floor tom and snare drum together. That's another way to sort of create the same effect, where the floor tom adds to the power of the snare drum notes. But what we're playing here is a flam. And he plays it again on beat 3, so we get 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1. We're into our first groove. Simple as that. So the last 2 bars of the intro, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and... Ridiculously simple, isn't it? 1, 2, 3, 4, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1, 2 and 3. So then we're into our first drum beat. Continue with the intro before the vocals come in. And we've only got a couple of drum beats to really learn for this song, and it seems that what Bill does is he settles onto this 2-bar phrase, and then halfway through verse 1, as we're going to see, he then settles into this 1-bar phrase. So what I mean by 2-bar phrase is because the bass drum at the end of bar 1 sort of goes over into bar 2, where we skip the bass drum on beat 1 of bar 2. You see what I mean? So the first bar is this, without the crash cymbal at the beginning. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and... Now you probably want to play and 1 because that's comfortable for drummers to play to move into the downbeat again, but that's not what Bill plays. In the second bar, we skip over the bass drum on beat 1 and we play 1 and 2, then and 3 and 4 and, where that pattern then repeats. So then we do get a 1-bar pattern repeating, but you can see that each bar after that doesn't have the bass drum on beat 1, which you might find a little bit weird to start off with, but once you get this drum beat in your head, muscle memory, etc., you shouldn't feel too uncomfortable with skipping over that bass drum on beat 1. So let me show you the first 2 bars. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and let me do that again, but let me continue now for all 4 bars so you can see how the pattern continues, skipping over that bass drum on beat 1. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2, 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 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 3 and 4 and so 1, 2, 3, 4, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 1. And I'll play this up to speed for you in a moment without the microphone on so you can hear just the drums. So then we go into verse 1. Notice there's no crash cymbal. on beat 1, it just goes straight into the verse. We continue with that 1 bar drum beat we've just been playing for bars 1, 2, 3, and then going into bar 4, he then goes back to, well, he then resolves the bass drum on beat 1, and we start to play a different kind of drum beat. It's really the same. We still got those bass drums on the and in between 2 snare drum notes, but it's just starting a little bit earlier in the bar, not going over to the next bar. So the tricky bit here for you perhaps will be going from bar 3 into bar 4 and changing the sound of the drum beat. And without the music, it does sound a bit drastic the way it changes. So if I play bar 3, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1, then we are going to resolve into bass drum on beat 1 for bar 4. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1. So bar 3 into bar 4, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3. And this is the main drum beat that really gets played through the majority of the verses. That second drum beat where we are playing the bass drum on beat 1. But the first one does come up a few times. It's like a little bit of improvisation going on. So you really only got those 2 main drum beats. If you wanted to continue with the 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and during all the verses, that still worked with the music, I believe. Or if you want to just play 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 from the very beginning of the song through all the verses, that would also work. That would get you through the song without too much difficulty. You wouldn't be playing it note for note, but you could get through the song all right. So, be aware that change from bar 3 to bar 4. Then we stay with that second drum beat. Second line of the verse 1 is exactly the same, just 6 bars. Notice, by the way, these lines are 6 bars long, not 4 bars. There's 6 bars to each verse melody repeat. So the 6th bar of verse 1, we got that bass drum playing on the and of beat 4, but instead of playing and 1 as we go into the chorus, we get this new kind of drum beat. Just for the choruses, and it's the same every time. He's playing 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and for 2 bars. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1, and it resolves into bar 3 with a crash cymbal. Now those crash cymbals on the recording are very, very quiet. The ones on the and of 4, as we're going to see in a second, are a little bit louder, but I'm pretty sure he's playing a crash cymbal on beat 1 after every first 2 bars of the choruses every time. It makes sense as well to sort of land on beat 1 nicely. So we get the 2 bars, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1, 2 and 3. We're going to bar 3 in a second. Let's go from the 6th bar of verse 1 into the 1st bar of the chorus. You can see how we go from that 1 drum beat, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1, 2. So just be aware that chorus is coming up. You've got to strike that snare drum on beat 1 of the 1st bar. No crash cymbal notice as well. And the other thing I'll just quickly mention is we do get a lot of sort of very subtle openings of the hi-hat. Not obvious openings, but sort of playing around with the looseness of the hi-hat. So if you want to sort of play around with the looseness of the hi-hat yourself, perhaps play it a little bit looser in the song, in the choruses, that'll work really well as well. Or even you could play the ride cymbal during the choruses. That's probably how I would play it live. But on the recording, interestingly, it's all on the hi-hat. So you can sort of play around with that if you wanted to make the chorus stand out a little bit more. So on to bar 3 of chorus 1, we get that crash cymbal, and 1 and 2 and 3. It's a very sparse drum beat, this bar of bass drum. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. And that's probably the hardest part of the song there for a beginner, is filling that crash cymbal on the and of beat 4, the upbeat, in between beat 4 and beat 1. Because then we're going to go over into bar 4, where we're skipping over that bass drum again. So you are changing from drum beat to drum beat quite a bit in this section. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3, 4 and. If you really find that crash cymbal on the and of 4 too difficult, leave it out. It's not really essential for the song. You could just play 1, 2 and 3, 4 and 1 and 2 and 3, 4 and. He doesn't play it every time in the song, so it's not essential, but it's cool if you can try and keep it in. 1, 2 and 3, 4 and 1 and 2 and 3, 4 and. The second line of chorus 1 we go back to 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. So we got to get ready from bar 4 into the second line of chorus 1. We get those 2 bars again. We then go into bar 3 with the crash cymbal. 4 and 1, 2, and this time it's this drum beat. 1, 2 and 3 and 4 and 1. And he plays that for bars 2 and 3 and 4. Notice there's no crash cymbal on the and of 4 that time for bar 3. And then bar 4 is slightly different. Bar 5, because it's 6 bars in this line. Bar 5 slightly different. We go back to 1, 2 and 3, 4 and then 1 and 2 and 3, 4 and, but it resolves on and 1 into verse 2. So a lot of improvisation there with the bass drum part. Last time I mentioned it, you can stick with one or the other drum beat. But if you want to play it note for note, you've got that choice, but don't get hung up on, oh no, I missed that bass drum there, it should have been the and, not the downbeat. I played the bass drum on beat 1, it shouldn't have been there. Don't worry about that too much, it's not essential for the song. You can hear that Bill is improvising throughout the song, but he's sticking with really only sort of 2 or 3 drum beats, so it's not really improvisational, if you know what I mean. So before we go on, let me now play for you what we've got so far. And this pretty much is the song. So the intro, the verse 1, chorus 1, up to speed without the microphone on so you can hear just the drums. Here we go. So like I said, we've really got the whole song down now. It really is that simple. So verse 2, we go into it without a crash cymbal. It's the second drum beat, 1, 2 and 3 and 4. The easier drum beat, if you like, being played 6 times for the first line, 6 times for the second line, staying the same every time. Chorus 2, we go into it the same way. 1, 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and comes out into bar 3 with 1, 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3, 4 and. Same as chorus 1. Second line, same 2 bars. Bar 3 has the crash cymbal both on beat 1 and the and of 4. 1, 2 and 3, 4 and 1 and 2 and 3, 4 and 1 and 3, 4 and 1 and 2 and 3, 4 and. So we're sort of playing with the first drum beat we showed you at the beginning of the lesson during the last parts of each chorus. I'm not sure if he does it in chorus 3. We'll find out, won't we? So verse 3. Standard stuff. I'm not going to go over each of these bars now because we've gone over the 2 main drum beats for the verses. It's just happened to be the same drum beat all the way through verse 3. Chorus 3, bar 3, 1, 2 and 3, 4 and 1 and 2 and 3, 4 and. So yeah, he is playing that first type of drum beat during the choruses. So bar 3 on the second line is the same. 1, 2 and 3, 4 and 1 and 2 and 3, 4 and. Now this is the interesting bit here. We're going to go into a break. It doesn't end on beat 1. The drummer doesn't go 1 and 2 and 3, 4 and 1, although you could accidentally if you wanted to. He actually ends it on the and of beat 4. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. So yeah, that last bass drum note and the hi-hat is actually the last note he plays before the break starts. And we basically got the intro again. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 after 3 bars of guitar. Second line of the break 1 instrumental, we've just got the 2 bar drum beats, 1, 2 and 3, 4 and 1 and 2 and 3, 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1. Then he resolves it on beat 1 of verse 4 where we go back to. First line's all the same, the second line is all the same, chorus 4. Both lines look identical to each other. So bar 3 for both lines is 1, 2 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Excuse me, page 3. Chorus 4 continued. And yeah, I think those two bars 3 and 4 are the same as previously. Then we get another break instrumental which happens exactly the same way. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1. We end on the and, a 4 there. 3 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and another line of just groove with the same as the first break. 1, 2 and 3 and 4 and oh no, okay. It's a different drum beat down. It's the one that resolves on beat 1. Into chorus 5, where the only thing that changes here, and I include this just because it's on the recording. If I was playing this with my band, I wouldn't worry about replicating this bar. It almost feels like a mistake, like Bill was caught off guard and he forgot, oh yeah, this is the chorus coming up, I forgot about that. Because he doesn't start it the same way, but he sort of catches up with himself halfway through the bar. So that one bar for chorus 5 starts with 1, 2, 3 and 4 and then he gets into it. 1, 2, 3 and 4 and so like he's starting the, but he goes 1, oh, sorry. So that's what I'm guessing. So yeah, that one bar is slightly different. Although if I was, like I say, playing it, I would play 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Why replicate what I think is a mistake? It's in time. Don't get me wrong by the word mistake. It's just I don't think that's what you intended to play. You get that feeling after a while. I'm listening to drums for many years. So each line is identical. Bars 3 and 4 are identical. So he's definitely settled into it now. Bars 3 and 4, 1, 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1, 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 3 and 4 and 1, 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and again 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1, 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and then the outro. Really, it's just one more time with the chorus groove. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1, 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2. Exactly the same with the line above it. And then the very last song before the song completely fades out, he settles into this drum beat. 1, 2 and 3, 4 and 1 and 2 and 3, 4 and 1 and 2 and 3. And that's how the song ends. You've got a couple more bars after that, but it's basically fading out and he's playing the same drum beat all the way to the end of the song. And that's it. So really, we covered most of it on page 1. It was just a couple of sections like the first bar of chorus 5 where there's a slight difference to the way he plays it. But really, it's just 2 or 3 drum beats played around in an improvisational way. If you want to play it note for note, you can read it off the page. If you don't, you can sort of stick to one drum beat or the other, depending for the choruses and the verses, just to make it easy for yourself, so you don't really have to read. You can just, oh, here's the chorus bit coming up. I know the chorus drum beat. You can sort of stick to it the same way. Up to you, really. Anyway, if you've got any questions, you can email me, rob@drumstotheword.com. And you might want to consider signing up to become an online member. And what I currently offer for £97 is a full year's online access to every single full video song lesson I've ever recorded and transcribed. And that's over 550 famous and popular songs where, just like this lesson, I teach you the song from start to finish. You get the fully transcribed PDF drum chart. And like I said, I've got over 550 famous and popular songs up on the website already. As a thank you for signing up, I give you hundreds more little videos teaching you many famous drum beats, fills and even drum solos. I give you 3 ebooks I've written over the years containing hundreds more famous drum beats, fills and solos. And then over the year of your subscription, you also gain instant online access to all the new material that I upload for my members. And I record new lessons every week unless I'm ill or on holiday, so you've got lots of cool stuff to look forward to over the year of your subscription. But if you've got any questions about any of that, then feel free to email me, rob@drumstotheword.com. And until our next drum lesson together, toodle pip, and happy drumming to you.